Seksele kancane sizophumelela. Yo yo yo. Seksele kancane. Seksele kancane sizophumelela. Yo yo yo. Seksele kancane. Seksele kancane sizophumelela.
Good day, Mapagania, and this is the Big Daddy Football Corner, and I'm back once again, Bafetu. Orlando Pirates match we are doing today, post-match tactical analysis between Orlando Pirates and FC Saint-Éloi Lupopo, the DRC team in CAF Champions League. Game played, Eskama Minzeli scored, and Orlando Pirates have been booted out of CAF Champions League. This is words that I didn't anticipate to use, in this particular video. And we lost on penalties. And to be quite honest, ladies and gentlemen, this one hurts. And the reason this one will hurt a lot is because we put so much effort in terms of the players and the supporters, into this particular match. And coming from a 3-0 down and having the resilience, the courage, to go on and score, 3 goals and take the game to penalties and then losing on penalties. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it really, really hurts. People will always say penalties, are lotto. And for the very first time, Ushaine was beaten, thoroughly on penalties. It's the first time I'm seeing him not even attempting to get into one of those penalties, and I think the Saint Lupopo team or players, they really did their homework in terms of ensuring that they actually win this particular penalties. And I always like to look at the positives, in every situation, no matter how negative it looks. Orlando Pirates are booted out of the CAF Champions League. There's nothing we can do about it. It's done. It's a result, and we have to live with it. And again, it happens that on the first attempt of the new coach, in CAF Champions League, we all usually lose. It happens again with Utu Jose. It's happening, once again, with the new coach. So those are one of the things. But what I'm saying is, with now us out of this CAF Champions League, I think this is a season that we need to put all our stock and all our effort in winning the league. We need to pile the pressure on Mamelodi Sundowns by winning each and every single game. And at times when they go to CAF Champions League, we win those games. And we let them chase and we put the pressure, because for the past season they've not been, it's few seasons where they've chased. They've always been a team that will always be in the forefront. And I think this is a time where we need to calm down as Orlando Pirates supporters and fans and players and coaches and say it's done. It's done. Now let's look at going for the league. This is an opportunity for us to concentrate solely on the league. But friends, let's go into it. And when I saw the sold out signs, of this particular match, I said to myself, this generation of Orlando Pirates supporters is something else. The team was 3-0 down, and yet they sold, Orlando Stadium, even if when the odds were against Orlando Pirates, but they still pulled through. What a bunch of supporters that we have, and what generation of souls, we are building and we have at Orlando Pirates. When you look at the lineup, for the first time this season and under this coach, we start without a recognized striker, And when you look at the lineup, you were like, okay, Appollis is going to play as a 9. But when the game started, you saw how fluid, they are, and they were always rotating, in this particular position. You could see Tito going in there, then going out. You will see Appollis going there, going out, to Moremi going there, going out. And it was all an exchange, in this particular instance, into the particular position, And right in the very first, second, third minute, of the match, Nemtajela gets a yellow card. And this is a game, and when I saw that, I was like, guys, this is CAF Champions League. These are games where senior players, needs to raise their hand, and calm down the younger guys and the newer guys. Because in this kind of competition, you need, calmer heads, And again, I also felt that this CAF Champions League, even though it is the second time, consecutive times we're going to it, but I felt that we brought again a brand new team into this competition. Meaning last season we brought a new team, and I thought it was going to be a continuation of the previous team, because this competition is different. It's not your league. It's not a normal competition. You even see the referee decision that in the referee decision in this particular game, because this is not an easy competition. And I just felt when I look at the lineup, and I was like, beside to Shine, Hoto, maybe Mbogazi that played, but it really played like 3 months or so, of CAF Champions League. And then Tito, nobody else was even in the final, of that, and of CAF Champions League, or in the semi-final, sorry, when we lost the match. This is a brand new team. And for me, I was like, okay, it looks like us bringing a new team. Now it's new, experiences, and there's going to be new mistakes. When you look at Lupopo, you could see what they came in here for. We're defending with 5 defenders, and to them, they came here to make sure they hold on to those 3 goals. They did not even park a bus. They actually parked 2 double-decker buses in front of the goalkeeper. The other thing that was frustrating for me was suddenly on this particular instance, without the 9, we kept on playing crosses inside the box. And it was even something that I've spoke about, before. Instances we tend to, that when we don't have or let me say, when at times we have a striker that's not good, we cross the ball. As soon as we have a striker that is good in heading, then we start not crossing the ball. Secondly, I'm going to talk about him twice. First half, firstly, for me, he's Orlando Pirates' key player, in my own view. Orlando Pirates desperately needed a midfielder, a CDM, that's not only efficient in protecting the back four, but that will be better technically and be present, when we don't have the ball. But one part of his game, that impressed me the most, in this particular instance was every time Orlando Pirates were losing the ball. Every time, because we were attacking with so many players. But the first player that will react when we don't have the ball, that will press aggressively and win the ball or win a tackle, was going to be Unduli. And if you go look at the goal, he's the one that we lost the ball. He's the one that went first. He was the first one that responded every time in terms of initiating our gegen press, up front, and he was the one that was pressing aggressively. We won the ball, and Nemtajela went on, and scored the goal. And after he scored the goal, and I said to myself, I tweeted, I said, calm is very crucial in CAF Champions League games. And inexperience, in this kind of situation was easy to see, amongst the Orlando Pirates players. It was creeping in, because clubs will poke you, hoping for you to retaliate, but don't fall for it. Otherwise you're going to pick unnecessary cards. And as soon as I finished that tweet, Moremi got a red card. A red card that he shouldn't have got. Again, Nemtajela is on a yellow card. That crazy player, from Lupopo pushed him. And if akasukanga, ubezomshaya ngenye impama, but he moved. And then came Moremi and pushed. And I just felt that there was an advantage for Orlando Pirates, and the way the players reacted, again, I'll say it, inexperience was easy to see in this particular match, But also, big up to Sipo China, because I think he kept us into this game, and again, this is Champions League, guys, CAF Champions League. I saw a tweet from Shane, and it's something that I noticed, and I did not think it was somebody else noticed. Look at the time. We scored in the 37th minute. Play was restarted at the 45th minute, but there was only 6 minutes added. And I was like, what? This is Champions League for you. Second half, Mbuthuma came in, Dlamini came in, Mbule out, Nemtajela out, and again, Orlando Pirates scored the second goal. In swing from Udlamini, near post, Mbuthuma scores the goal. And it's not common for Orlando Pirates to score from corner kicks. That's number one. Number two, it's not common for Orlando Pirates to play crosses or play corner kicks in the near post. And on this particular game, we did that and we scored the goal. Again, Unduli, I said I'll speak about him because now this is the second half of it. For me, he's the captain in the field of play. I think he's one of the most important signing that Orlando Pirates have made. But his emotional intelligence was second to none. He was the one that was calm, and when other players were poked and they aggressively reacted and went for a fight, he was the one that reminded them and said, calm down, guys. There's something that we have at stake here. And again, second, big ups to Lupopo, because in the second half, they so slowed the game down. They were always fishing for fouls, especially in the Orlando Pirates far half. They ensured that they will milk every tackle, and they ensured they dropped the tempo and the speed. And it worked for them, because in the first half, they could not drop it. In the second half, they ensured that they slowed the game in as much as they can, and they broke the Orlando Pirates rhythm. At times I was frustrated with Orlando Pirates' final third, decision making, especially the right backs, Usbelebel and then Lebiso, when they had the ball. Instead of when there was a run a player is making, instead of looking at that run, past the ball, they wanted to take a shot into those instances, and I was like, but there is a free player that's freeing himself out. Give him the ball, Again, my friends, a goal was scored in the last minute of the game. Appollis. I was screaming on my screen. I was saying, these guys, they are patiently passing in front. I was like, guys, we want a goal. Cross the ball, do whatever. But they were patiently playing up, patiently build up. And again, they got that pass into Appollis. And then, with his weaker foot, he scored the goal. And I said to myself, the gods of football are listening to us. We are going, through into the next round of CAF Champions League. Then we went into the fight, into the penalties, and we lost. But what also frustrated me the most in this game was the Orlando Pirates fans in the stadium, guys. There was a time I tweeted about it. I said, Orlando Pirates need a goal. We need a goal. But everybody in the stadium is quiet. I'm like, guys, why are we quiet when we need a goal? Because we should be pumping the players up to say, guys, come. I just felt that we did not generate the atmosphere for the players, to be able to get it. I felt the players were the one that generated, the fans. Because as soon as they scored a goal, then we start singing and then we stop. We wait for the second goal. It gets scored. We celebrate. We start singing. We stop. We did not generate like we used to generate. The last thing as well, before the penalties, I saw the toss, given to Orlando Pirates, Bogazi winning the toss. But he opted that Orlando Pirates is going to take the second penalties. Personally, I don't like to react. I always like to be the one that takes the first penalty and take the initiative, in this particular instance. Yeah, but that's what they are. Hot and Mbuthuma had luck chance, missing those penalties. And Orlando Pirates crashed out of CAF Champions League. But it's what it is, Mapagania. If there's anything that I've missed, Mafetu, please let me know. Aye, Mapagania, aye.